Hi everybody, coming at you from my back seat. There's a couple of you who really like these backseat videos. So here I am, but I haven't gone anywhere because, surprise, surprise, we're back in lockdown again here in Melbourne. And you might be thinking to yourself, how's that possible? Every other country is coming out of lockdown. But not us. No, here in Melbourne and Australia, we are seesawing and yo-yoing in and out of lockdown. Probably until we're all dead. No, I shouldn't be so flippant, but, it's a little frustrating. But the upside is you probably won't hear any trucks or anything going past on the road because everybody's home. The occasional car, but that's okay. So I'm just sitting in my car in my driveway because there's nowhere to drive to. Maybe the store, but that's about it. I put makeup on, not to go out anywhere, just to make myself feel a little bit better about this whole situation. That's how I cope. I don't usually wear makeup very much, but if I'm having a really low day, I'll put some on just so I can feel like a bit more of a person. Do you like my earrings? They're kind of gaudy, but I like them. I tried to stretch my ears, put those stretches in high school. So now anytime, pardon me, anytime I wear dangly earrings, I get grandma earlobe. Because they, I didn't stretch them very much. Only like that, maybe that much. So they went back to normal mostly, but they're just a little bit droopy now. But I've got my ears pierced all the way up like that, so. Gosh. Grandma ears. So what else has been going on? I've been rehearsing for this show that I'm in, which is meant to be going on in August, and it's the end of July now. So, I don't know. Anybody want to place any bets on the likelihood of that happening? Hopefully it happens. But I've been pretty lucky. I haven't done any theatre since COVID's happened, so I haven't had any shows shut down. I've been kind of being overly cautious, not really auditioning for stuff. Because I'm like, well, until we get our situation, until we get our house in order here in Australia, it is so uncertain. So we always knew that this was a possibility. But yeah, if you had told me, we're back in middle of winter, back in lockdown in Melbourne, exactly where we were last year. If you had told me last year that we'd be repeating the cycle, I would have thrown a shoe at you. But anyway, enough about that. I always come so unprepared. I'm like, I'm going to do a video, and then I don't think of any talking points. Everything I want to talk about is too political. But it's all I'm thinking about right now. Our bloody government. What's my tummy? Storage. Storage in high humidity or greatly fluctuating temperatures may in certain cases, lead to white discoloration on the surface of the candy. This is, however, harmless to your health. What do you think? Bit of white discoloration? I don't mind these are pretty good. And they don't tend to make me feel sick after I eat too many of them. It's always the risk you run when you eat no sugar candy. My partner and I just finished watching The Leftovers. Any of you guys ever heard of The Leftovers? It's a TV show. It's an American TV show. But quite a big chunk of the last season takes place in Melbourne. And they filmed it in Melbourne. It's the same guy who made Lost. He seems to have a thing about Australia. I'm not sure why. There was an Australian character in Lost as well. That actress grew up like 15 minutes away from me. Slightly different career trajectories though. So, The Leftovers is really cool. Like, the Australian film industry. Australian films are always a little bit cringy. I don't know why. Maybe it's just bias of being an Australian. But I just feel like everything we make is a bit lackluster. And so to see this show, which, had incredible production values and incredible actors, and to see them filming in Melbourne, it's like, whoa, my brain doesn't compute. This is actually a good TV show, and it's taking place in Australia. I don't know what it is about Australian media. I think it's also our accent as well. Like, good on them. I think they used totally local actors. I recognise a couple of people. But I found the same thing with Lost. The Australian accent, out of context, like in an American show, is so jarring. And when it hits my ears, I'm like, oh, is that what we sound like? We sound like yokels. Like, I don't know. I always find it really hard to act in an Australian accent as well. I don't know why. I must just have some internal bias about my accent. But hopefully you guys like it. Comes in handy sometimes. But The Leftovers is a really good show. You should watch it. For some reason it never got much of a following, which I don't understand, because it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. I've also been rewatching Star Trek, Deep Space Nine. I rewatch that every once in a while. It's my favourite of the series. I have a friend who's actually wants to watch for the first time all of the Star Treks. I think he's still only up to the original series, but I've been kind of like his guide, his Star Trek Sherpa, if you will. Because there's a lot of content, and it can definitely be daunting. Let's be honest. Not all of it is super high quality. The quality fluctuates. There was a time when I could say I had seen every single Star Trek episode. Back when I was a teenager, I made it my mission to watch everything. But they're bringing out new stuff all the time, and I just can't keep up. I feel like such a boomer. I'm like, back in my day, there were only 6 series of Star Trek. Now there's like 12. I think I might go for a walk after this while there's still a bit of sun in the sky. That's the thing about winter, is the sun disappears at like 5:30 in the afternoon. And I'm not much of an early riser, so in the winter I don't get to experience a lot of the sunlight. Just looking at what's in my back seat. I haven't been back here in a little while. Got a bright green towel from the gym that I go to. My boyfriend and I have a running joke. We never go to the gym. Like, it's a joke. But we have a membership to this local gym, and it seems like every time we finally muster up the energy to go, we go into lockdown days later. It's like a pattern that he and I have noticed every time. Every time we muster it up and we go to the gym, we end up in lockdown days later. So I think that's the universe's way of telling us to stay fat. It's fine by me. It's what I do best. I hope that some of you out in the world are actually getting out and about safely and are able to. And that you have your vaccinations and all that good stuff. Because it's bleak. It's bleak being in lockdown over and over again. It really is. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced similar things, but I think Melbourne possibly is up there as having spent the most days overall in lockdown. I think we're definitely up there. So it's nice to be good at something. Anyway, I might wrap it up there, fellas, because it's starting to get a bit dark, and if I don't go for a walk now, it'll be dark, and I don't like walking in the dark. So hopefully those of you who really wanted to see me back in my backseat for some reason, no judgment, that's everybody likes something. Hopefully this has been what you wanted. And I'll see you all again very soon.